things going on in the community. I think Salisbury High is giving out their computers or something to the kids, and we had a little confusion with the time in the paper, and I appreciate Elizabeth giving us that correction today. But like I told my friend Steve, if we got 5, we're going to go on. If we got 50, we're going to go on. So what I want to do is let Pastor Anthony Smith come up and lead us in prayer, and then Chris Zipper's going to get us going.
Holy and gracious God, God, we thank you for your presence in this place. God, we thank you for the heart of the people that's here today. God, we can only think that this is an expression of the grace that you've given each and every one of us to love this community. And God, we thank you for the diversity here, the difference of beliefs, the difference in ideas. But God, we thank you that you gathered us here today with the same love. And God, we just pray for unity today. And we pray that you would energize this group as we bring our heads together to create collective action together. We thank you for all these things. In the name of your Son, amen. Amen.
Appreciate it, Brother Smith. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone out this evening. To take time out of your busy schedules on a rainy afternoon means a lot. We're reconvening after the July 23rd meeting to actually give you guys some data, some information on what we've collected, and so forth. For those that, we may have some new people in the audience, but for those that have no idea what the chamber is, I'll take a brief minute to fill you in. The chamber is a working body of over 200 members that have come together to correct some of the irregularities that we see going on in our community. We have monthly think tanks to discuss those irregularities so that we may raise the level of consciousness in our brothers and sisters so they will make a sound and coherent decisions. The chamber has also created a voting block of 300 plus that is compounding and growing exponentially as we speak. We are not a group. We are an organization that is equipped with the best minds around. So the chamber is real. The chamber is real. And for you guys, I'm trying to figure out how I want to frame this. A lot of times, when you speak out, politicians have alligator skin to comments. So you can say what you want, you can drum, I call it drums and cymbals them to death, and they're made for that. But the thing is, when you can articulate and create a viable solution to the problems and attack the tax base, then they'll listen. And that's what the chamber is about. We're about attacking the tax base and creating viable solutions so that we can move forward. So, I won't take up any much more of your time. Next will be this beautiful young lady. Come on up, young lady. This is Vivian. She'll take it from me.
Good evening. Good evening. I am delighted to be here, although I'm barely here. I've been in my house for a week, believe it or not. Not taking any calls no more than my good friend Shirley, who fed me while I was in. But I was out of town and ended up in the emergency room in Charlestown, West Virginia, with bronchitis. But I want to welcome you on behalf of Miss Fannie Tillery Butler, who just got back in town at 5 o'clock this morning from Connecticut. So she's been on the road as well. I just want to remind you that the Western Community Organization, we used to say that it was over 50 years old, but I think we're about in our 60th year now. We've worked in this community, working with senior citizens and children for over 60 years. And we're very proud of what we've done in this community. We worked with the city to make our cemetery One, that when people have gone on to their final rest, someplace that they can be proud to go to. Right here on Hoorah Street, we asked the city for sidewalks, although Ms. Nora Robinson had to get petitions, and she thought at one time she was going to be dead and gone before the sidewalks were put up there, but we thank the city for that. And like Kenny has said, we're not here to beat up on anyone. I want to say to the parents and the grandparents here, I read the paper earlier today online, and I was very, very disturbed. 7, count them folks, 7 young black men have been arrested today. 7. That's a sad commentary. We can talk about what it is that we want the city to do, but I'm here, I'm going to be the agitator this evening. And Webster defines that as something that gets the dirt out, so I'm going to agitate some parents and grandparents this evening. We must remind our children that when the policemen stop them, whether they have done anything wrong or not, you must comply. You must tell your children they must comply. If the policemen do something that is wrong, the first thing I ask them to do, to look at their badges, get their badge number, and then proceed from there. I'm in the phone book, so if the parents need to get in touch with me to help them weave the fabric and go through all of this, I will be more than happy. But I'm saddened today when I read that 7 young black boys were arrested today. And I want, as we go about sharing the data that we have amassed, that we look at what it is that we can do as a community. We can't always blame somebody else for something that we're not doing. We must learn to parent our children. And I ask the question, and I ask it not in a vacuum, but who will revere the little black boy? Who will revere the little black girl? Who will revere our senior citizens? And I think in the community, whether it's in East Spencer, or whether it's on the east side or the west side, it is up to us. It is incumbent upon us. When we finish this evening, we will then go to the city and let them know what it is that we want from them. So I want to welcome you in the spirit of all that is good and all that is righteous, that you will participate and love us and support us as we continue to make our communities a better community. Thank you so very much.
planting flowers and shrubs and trees, and we can do this. So all we have to do is to continue to make a difference in our neighborhood, and we really appreciate and thank you for your support.
For those who don't know me, my name is Kenny Gordon, and I wanted to just take just a few minutes to share some thoughts. But before I get started, I was talking to Karen Alexander last night. We had a great conversation about literacy on the phone, and there's a misunderstanding, I think, because sometimes I'm the mouthpiece and I'm more visible, but I don't have really, I can't take any of the credit for anything that you see, anything that you see tonight. I appreciate so much. I've known Dee going back to the mid-90s, and I have to say she took my call too while she was sick. So, and I appreciate working with Ms. McLaughlin. But I wanted to recognize just a few other people who really have put this thing together, and we work well as a team. You've met Chris Silver. Chris, we always say no one owns the chamber, and that's true. Everybody has an equal hand in participation and an equal hand in the direction of what we're doing. So you know Chris, you've met Pastor Anthony Smith, and the people that I am letting you meet tonight are some good people that have really helped me grow as well. Nicholas Means, you probably should throw your hand up, Nick. Another good brother that's really been a great part of this. Chris Sharp, I don't know where Chris is. He may be out manning the table out front. And Brenda Peoples, I think she's out at the table as well. And Dr. Yolanda Meade Bird, she's waving low back there. She got a waving high. And I give her all the credit. She put this great survey together, and it was a great collaborative effort that everybody's talents came together to work on this. Now, saying that, what I want to do is just, before we delve into looking at the data, first just give you an understanding of what we're trying to accomplish and what we will accomplish tonight. We wanted to just go over the data. I sent out about 4:15 this afternoon, everybody in the last meeting that had submitted email addresses. It was about 50 people, but about 10 or 12 bounced back. So feel free to let me know if you didn't get the information. I was hoping you were able to go through the data, look at the data, read some of the comments. I had a great breakfast meeting with Chief Collins last week. We went over the data that you're going to see today. We read some of the comments, and we talked about some interventions and action plans. I was a little surprised that he's already got some great things in place, and I told Chief, you've got the best kept secret, some things going on, so we got to get a better communication mechanism to let the community know what's going on. So once we look at the data, what we want to accomplish this evening is we want to come up with some real solutions, some real resolutions, some real interventions. So often I hear people say, well, if they would just pull their pants up. Well, what if they pull them up and you give them a belt? Then what you going to do? So we need to come up with something beyond just pull your pants up, or kids don't have enough to do. What does that mean? What does that look like? So we want to get some interventions down and some solutions down, and I do have some handouts and some papers. Once you write those down, then it's going to be incumbent upon you to go back to your communities, your neighborhoods, and implement these. As Dee Dee said, what we're going to do is sit down with the city leaders. We're going to sit down with the chief and the sheriff. Sheriff's here also. And we're going to talk about what we can do. But no longer can we sit back and wait. But I just want to read some thoughts. Honestly, I was a little upset with some of the comments that I heard in the interim. Some that have been inboxed. People feel like they can just inbox and message me and talk to the mayor when he walked in. He said, well, just imagine being the mayor. Get those. But I don't read them. I delete them. I've got just a few things that I want to say. And if you come to some of our think tanks, what I tell people is if your toes get stepped on, get sturdier shoes. But as an African proverb I came across recently reads, if the children aren't initiated into the village, then they will burn it down just to feel its warmth. Every community in Salisbury has a village, but from what I've seen lately and read in the comments from my surveys, people think the village is a mess. We can't have a lackadaisical, intermittently involved, and sometimes hands-off approach to the village, and then wonder why the kids here in Salisbury are slowly but methodically burning our neighborhoods to the ground. I applaud faith leaders like Reverend Lehman Brown, Pastor Timothy Bates, Reverend Pat Jones, Pastor Dustin Wilson, and Pastor Anthony Smith, and a few others who are stepping up and stepping out of the pulpit to help improve our village. But there are far too many others who are doing absolutely nothing. It's sad to know that when some of our so-called leaders were called to action, some responded that they were either too busy to participate or they needed more information on what was going on before they could decide whether they would participate in the forums and initiatives like we have here tonight. My response to those of you, please don't come out. We don't need you. I would much rather for you to stand in your judgmental pulpit and wag a finger at those who are burning down the village and continue to criticize us and those who are trying to make a difference rather than to inhale your fake air. I've read Facebook posts, letters to the editor, and deleted many emails and inbox messages that I've received from cowards who can't muster the courage or the energy to come out and make a difference, but they would rather sit back and engage in mouse-pad warfare. I have no tolerance, respect, or use for those who put more energy into talking about and analyzing problems instead of putting something on the line and getting involved. This train is forward thinking and forward moving. So anyone who can't find the time to get on board and support the initiatives like the Night Crawlers, the Chiefs Police Athletic League football program, or literacy program, then I would much rather you to bid us good day and move on. The issues we identified from the survey are not a black issue, a white issue, or a political issue. Gone are the days when we can raise a finger and say shame on those folks over there, because crack in one community is akin to prescription pills in another community. Drugs, crime, and violence do not recognize a skin color or street address. The welfare of one is bound to the welfare of all in the village. Alone, we can make a small difference, but together, fighting these societal ills, we can do so much more. No longer can we wait for Martin, Malcolm, Mahatma, John, Bobby, or any other lone individual to motivate us to get involved to make a difference. There is a quote that reads, "One determined person can make a significant difference, but a small group of determined people can change the course of history." We are committed to changing the course of Salisbury tonight. Leadership capabilities exist in all of us. We just need to find that passion and motivation to let it out and channel it into effecting positive change. Before an assassin's bullet silenced JFK, he said, "Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future." We are forward-thinking and forward-acting tonight. The comments show that people in every corner of Salisbury are afraid and not living the best life they can and should. One attendee on July 23rd wrote, comment said, that has stuck with me that night, was that she does not allow her 3-year-old child to play outside at all. She went on to write that she fears her home will be broken into when she's at school, and also fears that she will be struck down by a drive-by bullet. Does she or her small child deserve that type of life here in Salisbury? So as we move forward from this point on, we can no longer wait or try to appeal to the moral conscience of those in leadership positions. No longer can we afford to put our lives, livelihood, and upward progression in the hands of those who are not impacted daily by the trials and tests of those who are forced to endure daily. No longer is the concern about stepping on toes or hurting someone's feelings in lieu of finding what can help heal our communities. Our goal is not to create or maintain an antagonistic or adversarial relationship with the chief, the sheriff, the city, or any county leader. The goal is to simply wipe away the victimization label so many in this community have been unfairly given. We want to help them become empowered and help them and you to come up with solutions to improve the quality of the life where you live. Over the past several weeks, I've had great conversations and discussions with the Chief of Police and a few of the city leaders on ways we can partner and work collaboratively on healing the village together. While I'm open to this, I will keep in mind and add to what I see on the back of every dollar bill I carry. In God we trust, all others I remain cautious. I told our police chief at breakfast last week that I would give him my full support and faith until I'm given a reason not to. We're working together on some things now to strengthen the relationship between the police department and the black community. I think the chief's heart and his intentions are true and in the right place, but he's aware that there's some work that needs to be done to strengthen that level of trust, which includes increasing the cultural understanding and the respect of the population his officers serve. So tonight, it's about moving forward. So what I want to do, I was in Wilmington a couple of weeks ago, and I was visiting a church down there. And the pastor did something that took very little effort and very little time. But I want to do that tonight to kind of get us on the right path. So what I want everyone to do, if you could, just stand up for me. And what I want you to do is I want you to look over your left shoulder and look behind you. Look behind you as far as you can look. Okay? Now I want you to turn back around. Now the reason that I ask you to do that is, from this point on, I want everybody to stand up for something. But let this be the last time you look